from vitalitybyjenny.com. So do you have a sweet tooth? Because I know that I really used to have a sweet tooth. I could not count how many times that I have eaten at least a third, if not a half, of the enormous chocolate cake that comes from Claim Jumper. If any of you know which one I'm talking about. It's literally for like 6 people, I think. It's to be shared, definitely. And I could definitely eat, you know, quite a bit of this cake, and I used to do that quite a lot. So even after I started eating healthy and really working on changing my diet in so many ways, I was still eating this cake, still eating chocolate bars, still eating cookies, still really craving sweets. And I kind of was always under the assumption that this was a really bad thing, that, you know, there was something wrong with me because I was craving all of these sweets, that I was probably emotional, or there was some type of eating issue that I was having because I was still craving all of these sweets. Luckily, along my journey through the health world and through changing my diet, I have come to realize that this is definitely not true. Not only have I learned that it's not true, but I've actually completely eradicated my sweet tooth. So I am going to tell you how to eradicate yours as well. So along my journey, it took me quite a couple years to discover that we actually crave carbohydrates. We crave sugars for a very specific reason. And that is because all of our cells actually live off of sugar. Every single cell in our body needs sugar to survive. Our brain runs off of 100% sugar. You know, everything that we do, we think, we feel, you know, we move, all of this stuff requires the energy from sugar. And so our sweet tooth is actually biologically driven. We are designed to crave sweet foods because that is what was the most calorically dense foods that was perfect for us in the wild, because that would have been fruit. So fruit is one of the most perfect foods for us for the reason that it provides us with lots of carbohydrates, lots of sugar in a very healthy way. And so the problem arises when we start falling under the assumption that carbohydrates are bad for us, sugars are bad for us. And of course, we're not talking about table sugar, white sugar, because we all know that that's not good stuff. But we're talking about good carbohydrates and good sugars, like the ones that found in fruit and the ones found in whole grains and different starchy vegetables. So these types of sugars and carbohydrates that break down into sugars is exactly what our bodies need. And if we don't get enough of them, then we start craving them. So if you've ever heard that carbohydrates are going to make you fat, and eating too much carbohydrates will put weight on, then it's more than likely that you actually watch how many carbohydrates you eat. And this will lead you to eat more protein and more fat in your diet because you have to get the calories from somewhere. But proteins and fats don't convert to sugars as easily as carbohydrates, and they leave you feeling unsatisfied at the end of a meal. This could also happen if you are under eating in general. So if we're trying to lose weight, oftentimes we go by the calories in, calories out, you know, idea. And so we start under eating. We start restricting our calories. And if you're not getting enough calories, then you're automatically not getting enough simple sugars in your diet to fuel your body. And so you're going to crave sugars in that instance as well. This is really apparent whenever you go to a Thanksgiving dinner. This is kind of the example that I always use, is because you have stuffed yourself full on all of these, you know, high-fat, rich types of foods that are high in protein and high in fat, and you are full, physically full, but you still crave something sweet. You still have room for dessert. And that's because you are craving the carbohydrates that are in the dessert. You're craving the sugars because your body still hasn't received enough sugars, even though you've overeaten in terms of volume of food. And so that really goes to show you just how much your body really does need those sugars. So what does all this mean, and how do you get rid of your sweet tooth? So it's actually really, really simple. As soon as you start eating enough fruit and other carbohydrate foods, like say starchy foods like whole grains and starchy vegetables, then your sweet tooth is going to go away. And I know it sounds, you know, like something you cannot believe, but this is exactly what happened to me. As soon as I switched my diet from like a high fat, high raw diet to a high fruit, high raw diet, my sweet tooth was completely gone in a matter of weeks. It did take some time for me. I still craved the chocolate, and I think it was more the caffeine that I was craving than the sweets per se. So it took me a while to get over my caffeine addiction, but the sweet tooth was completely gone because you're eating sweet foods all day long. And so really what kind of kicks in is your salty craving, but we'll discover how to go about fixing that one in another video. So if you just focus on eating fruit as much as you care for and make sure it's enough to feed your body for breakfast and for lunch, and then a high carbohydrate, low fat meal for dinner. It can be cooked or raw, whatever you'd like. Then this is going to go into your sweet tooth and just blow it up, because you will be getting all of the sugars that your body needs, and you will no longer crave all of those junky sweet foods, I promise you. I know it sounds unbelievable, but it is true. If you eat enough of the healthy types of sugars, the healthy types of carbohydrates, then you will not crave the ones that are bad for you. So I hope that you can take this and put it into practice and really realize how easy it is to get rid of that sweet tooth. If you would like a free recipe ebook to help you get started on this low-fat, high-raw diet and lifestyle, then just jump on over to www.happysexyhealthy.net, and you can grab a free, instantly downloadable ebook right there. I love you guys. I'll see you soon.